Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Kernels of Truth, brought to you by Progress Kentucky. We've got a fantastic show for you tonight. We are going to be checking in with our co-hosts. We'll then be doing a kind of energy and environmental news roundup. We have a call to action to defend rooftop solar energy in our Commonwealth. And we've got Doug Price joining us for an effort to tell the story of the General Assembly and what happened. It's a sad story. There's not going to be a lot of happy endings, unfortunately. It's just going to be, it's going to be what it is. But Doug's going to do the deep dive to sort it all out for us, which we're looking forward to that. First, our quick plug for Progress Kentucky. We, as you have maybe heard, we're an all-volunteer campaign committed to connecting the dots between Republican-led policies which harm our state while supporting a better political way forward for our Commonwealth. And if you care about that mission, and if you might have a little bit of money sitting around that you could help with that mission and help implement it and help see it to fruition, head to our Secure Act Blue page, make a donation. Anything helps. $5, $50, $500, $5,000. I don't know that there's a limit. I think Act Blue can take any amount. So as large as you would like to make that contribution. It all adds up and it all supports our efforts to turn Kentucky purple so that we have better stories to tell politically. Really, it's an investment in making this show more exciting. Wouldn't it be exciting if we could talk about progressive victories at the state level in Kentucky? So best way to do that, go to that Secure Act Blue page and help make it happen. So let's check in though with our co-hosts. We've got a great list of folks we're going to be turning to. Tell us who you are, where you are, and what does your protest sign say today? Oh, and of course, you on the internet, I know people are watching. You need to just go to the comment section and tell us, where are you and what does your protest sign say as well. You don't have to tell us your name because that's the thing about Facebook. It just pops up with your name on there. So that's easy. But I'm going to just say, I'm Aaron. I'm coming to you from Childsburg in Lexington. And my protest sign says today, there is no planet B. And I'm going to go to our next co-host. I'll check in with Nate.
I'm the next co-host. Who knew? Hey, folks, this is Nate Orshan coming live from South Frankfort, from Kitchen, my home. And today, my protest sign is going to say, hey, General Assembly, try serving Kentuckians, not the Koch brothers.
Nice. Kimberly, how about you?
Hey, everybody. Kimberly Cecil Jones here in Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby, which is coming around pretty soon. So my protest sign says, Mitch, where's the $200 million for mental health? We know you haven't dished it out yet because we can tell by you haven't used it.
So what you're saying is that Mitch McConnell is showing signs of mental instability. Is that what you're getting at there, Kimberly?
I'm not a licensed therapist, nor am I a psychologist or psychiatrist, but just going by the old school way of my grandmother and great grandmother, he's a bit touched in the head, I would say.
All right. Let's go to Ken behind the boards.
Hello, I'm Ken Howe here on the north side of Lexington. I have an interesting and timely protest sign. On April 5th, 11 years ago, the 29 miners died in an explosion. It's called the Upper Big Branch mine disaster. It happened because of negligence and cutting corners for profits. And it wasn't the first time or last disaster happened here in Kentucky, but the tragedies were worker safety was ignored, bankruptcy that leaves land and water toxic and makes us sick. So I feel like people are saying clean coal, clean coal, clean coal. I went to this is a mine site and planted trees here and The ground is packed solid, no trees grow, and the land is devastated. So my protest sign is clean coal is.
All right. That's why we're the kernels of truth. We call out the lies. Clean coal is nothing but PR. Brought to you by Friends of Coal. All right, so let's get into it. Really excited to have this kind of focus on the environment and energy this week, because there's just a lot going on right now, and this is an issue that we got to get right. And I think it's one that Kentucky has absolutely lagged on year in and year out, and we have not seen the necessary important leadership for our planet, for our ecosystem, for our communities. So first story of the week, we've got Kimberly on deck.
Thank you, Aaron. When I'm traveling Kentucky, I see lots of license plates that say basically Friends of Coal. But why? I'm always wondering, why do they even say that? It's so clear that coal doesn't really care about us. The black eyes of Blackjewel just don't stop for the 10th time in 6 years. A creek and road under a Blackjewel mine was washed out, cutting people off from town, groceries, and hospitals, while also taking out their water lines. Harlan County got a horrible, no good, rotten neighbor in Blackjewel, who has again and again failed to properly reclaim its Forester's number 25 surface mine, which sits above the community of Wallace Creek. The county has needed to spend tens of thousands of dollars to clean up Blackjewel's mess again and again, with dozens of community members left stranded and hundreds left without reliable water. Of course, Blackjewel gained notoriety when they declared bankruptcy and clawed back workers' paychecks after they had been deposited. What creeps would do that, right? Then the workers then blocked train tracks to keep the coal they had mined and had not been paid for from making it to market, ultimately getting their paychecks and showcasing how poorly coal companies can treat their workers. The financial problems of the company continued, and bankruptcy courts let them walk away from cleanup obligations for dozens of mines. In 2019, it became clear that Blackjewel was not alone in failing to provide the bonds necessary to pay workers or clean up their environmental impact. And then Attorney General Andy Beshear at that time found that as many as 30 companies had failed to post a performance bond as required, something that then Governor Matt Bevin had been working to end to make it easier for coal companies to walk away from their workers and environmental obligations. The financial requirements to clean up can be significant. In another new coal story, American Resources, or better known as the ARC, has agreed to pay $200,000 in fines and penalties to clean up a mine that was out of compliance. But that only came after regulators rejected efforts to restart the mine unless and until the penalties were paid. Without that threat, it's hard to hold the companies accountable if they decide there's no financial value in reopening mines. They are often allowed to walk away. Last month, Blackjewel was able to abandon 30 Kentucky mines in bankruptcy proceedings. As coal becomes less and less financially viable, it's really critical. And I want to say that one more time. It's really critical that regulators with the Kentucky Energy and Environmental Cabinet aggressively hold the companies accountable to their commitments and quickly move to utilize bonded resources. Back to you, Aaron.
Yeah, big story, big, long arc of Blackjewel and their behavior in our Commonwealth, and they're just irresponsible efforts. Thanks so much for bringing that to us, Kimberly. Nate, what's your response to that?
Oh, my response. I mean, I probably shouldn't throw up on live stream, right? But I have to tell you, this story, this story makes me sick. on so many different levels. And especially this last story that Kimberly just shared, the one where the federal bankruptcy judge in West Virginia ruled that the mining company Blackjewel doesn't have to worry about a cleanup and reclamation of coal mines and that are currently covered by 30 permits. Well, I looked at that story and I saw that what it goes on to say is that the Blackjewel has 170 other permits in West Virginia, in Tennessee, and right here in Kentucky. 170 other permits that are sort of on hold for the next 6 months while Blackjewel scrambles to sell them off to other mining companies. And what if they can't sell them to other responsible coal companies? Wait, is that an oxymoron? And they're still holding the bag for any or all of us once those permits come due in September, or when they're supposed to step in front of the judge in September. Are they going to appear before him, Judge Benjamin Kahn, the second time, cap in hand, and convince him that they should be allowed to walk away from those obligations as well? Don't throw up, Nate. Don't throw up. What did you tell yourself? For me, ultimately, this is a story about businesses and industries that have captured the support of regulators and legislators. Not all Republican, but let's face it, at this point, mostly Republican. And they've established patterns and practices that end up leaving far more of what economists call externalities of production, the pollution and the environmental damage, to be paid by us taxpayers than by the very businesses that have created the mess. This is a real thing, and it even has a name. They call it privatized profits and socialized losses. Privatized profits, socialized losses. The idea is that when the times are good, the coal mining companies' investors get the profits of the business's activity, but when the times turn bad and they have to just file for bankruptcy, like Blackjewel did, it's the public and not the failed firm that ends up taking the loss, paying the cleanup costs for toxic externalities of what the business used to do. And don't forget the punchline to this sad, vomit-inducing joke. Republican leaders are always against socialism, except when that socialism is you, the taxpayer, paying for a failed business's environmental mess. Who's got the Dramamine?
I don't have any Dramamine. I'm sorry. I do hope that you keep it together and do not vomit on the air. This is not that kind of show. But yeah, that original question, right, of like friends of coal, why friends of coal, that Kimberly posed to us all. I think it's like there's this cultural war piece, right? I think it kind of goes into the whole foxification of our society, right? Like, oh, we are coal communities, so we hate liberals, and we are going to, drive big trucks, make sure we've got, our friends of coal license plate. If I could, roll coal on some liberals, shoot out some diesel exhaust on folks, that's a win-win-win, right? That's what I want to do. Well, let's we're kernels of truth. Let's try to be that, right? So do not fall for the culture wars, right? Our future as a society, as a commonwealth, absolutely hinges on us getting it right on climate change, right? Like there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. Like science doesn't care if you're a liberal or a conservative or, somebody with a degree or somebody, just with who graduated high school, right? Like it affects us all the same. I like to say, like, global warming, it's not Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, right? You don't really get to pick whether you believe it or not. And it doesn't really matter which way you fall on the issue. It's going to happen, and it is happening now. Our state is very much vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. So do not, like, the opposition to action on climate change isn't about AOC versus Fox News, right? It's not about vegans taking your cheeseburgers. It is about building a new energy economy that can actually put these coal communities back to work, right? While actually cleaning up the horrible mess left behind by these companies that enrich its board and CEO and then claw back paychecks and don't remediate the coal fields. So as Ken mentioned earlier, that's the 11th anniversary of the Upper Big Branch coal mine disaster in West Virginia that killed 29 miners. That's a price of coal, right? They can be very dangerous jobs, dangerous to the communities, and what does our future look like? Do we want it to look like more dead miners and more decimated creeks and rivers? Or do we want one that looks like smart, clean electric school buses and transit buses and EV freight and delivery vans that keep kids in neighborhoods from choking down diesel pollution while connecting, if we connect those electric vehicles to the grid, that keeps Texas from happening. So that, that amazing deep freeze disaster, the reason the grid fell apart was not because of, windmills, like the big lie that we covered in terms of Andy Barr and wind, and we did earlier. The thing that impacted the grid was not the renewables, right? But had there been battery backups in that grid, it would have been able to weather the storm far better. Right. And that's what we can do into the future. We can create a smarter grid. We can develop the domestic supply chains to build all that tech, right? So those EV batteries, the microchips, the solar panels. Coal's gone. Coal's not coming back. We are not mining coal at the level we used to. We never will. But if we're smart and if we make good investments in our future, we can mine lithium safely. We can mine critical rare earth minerals. We can shift our transportation energy needs from the Middle East to home. We can do that at home, or we can get surpassed again and just swap the Middle East for China. And without some real leadership to develop those domestic supply chains, that's kind of the direction that we're headed. I think Biden gets it. He's saying the right stuff. He's putting money where it matters. I think the infrastructure plan would get us well in our way there. But, what are we doing about it, Kentucky? Are we going to fight that kind of rearguard battle to try to bring coal back when all these politicians have lied year in and year out about bringing coal back? What did it happen? Trump ran on that campaign. Mitch runs on it every 6 years without fail. And what happens? The trajectory of coal jobs is unimpeded, and it's zeroing out soon. So let's replace it with domestic manufacturing by embracing a clean energy future, not vilifying it because AOC seems to like it, and you don't like AOC because, I don't know, because you're an idiot and you're racist. So let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing, Kentucky. Let's embrace that clean energy future. All right. So our second big energy story. That wasn't a story. That was just a soapbox. So I'm going to step off my soapbox and I'm going to step onto a really important story. So we're going to highlight some sunlight. So our regulations and legislation that is working right now to put solar energy out of reach of most folks in Kentucky, most Kentucky homeowners, it's a real problem. The issue is referred to as net metering, which is, again, hey, must be liberals in charge of it, because what the hell does that mean, right? It's like solar energy rooftops. That's the project, right? So if you install solar panels, you'll need to tie those panels into the electrical grid. So historically, when you're generating energy you're not using, you can feed that energy into the grid for someone else to use, with the energy company giving you a one-to-one credit for that energy that you fed there. So last year, the General Assembly, after a few efforts to do it, finally passed a bill that the energy companies were lobbying for. That's the only reason this bill existed, is because the energy companies, those monopolies, really, really wanted it. So that bill allowed for the Public Service Commission to decide whether or not that credit should be one-to-one or something that's less fair to rooftop solar owners and more advantageous to the monopoly energy companies. So Kentucky Utility, Kentucky Power, they're both taking advantage of that opportunity and are seeking to significantly decrease the credits they provide to rooftop solar owners right now. And that is happening. It's really distressing because it can put solar out of reach for most homeowners. I found some great information on this issue from Kentuckians for the Commonwealth and the Kentucky Solar Energy Coalition. But Kentucky Power has asked the PSC for permission to reduce by about 75% the value of the credit that they offer to new solar customers. The company also proposed a complex crediting system that involves these kind of time of use blocks, which would further reduce the value customers could gain from having a rooftop solar energy array. This would be for new solar customers. Existing net metering would be grandfathered in for the current system for at least 25 years. But the benefits to doing this and keeping the system as is are really clear. So there are good jobs. There's like 1,400 solar installers in Kentucky currently, and those are, again, good jobs. We are the 49th state in terms of solar production. So there could be a lot more clean energy solar installation jobs if we keep these rates as is. But in addition to the jobs and the small business success, rooftop solar gets us this clean, climate-friendly energy production, which our state desperately needs. Currently, over 70% of our energy comes from coal. So we are burning coal for 70+% of our energy, which is horrible. It's not good for our environment. It's not good for our health. And it's not keeping pace with the rest of the country for sure. We are getting 21% from natural gas and just about 7% from renewables, which is about a third of the national average. So if you reduce that credit, that kind of one-to-one credit for the energy you as a rooftop solar homeowner, the relative cost of the solar panels increased significantly. Your ability to earn back your solar investment drops to the point that it just doesn't make any sense to install those solar panels. But we know solar does make sense. So just this month, a report looked at Franklin County and found that Frankfort and Franklin County's public schools and local governments could save $1.2 million a year if they did a collaborative 20 megawatt solar project. And I don't know if Ken has this pulled up, but I also saw, there's an ad on my Facebook feed right now. KU is advertising how they're all in on solar. And in fact, they are bringing sheep onto their biggest solar installation. And they're doing that not because solar doesn't make economic sense. They're doing it because it does make economic sense, but they want to control the rate of it that they have to pay to you as a solar owner. They don't want to give you the credit, that you would deserve for generating that excess energy. They want to make money off of solar. They want to charge us for that energy the same way they charge us for, natural gas or coal-fired power. So really it is, it's very, very distressing. It's one more, there's a reason the word monopoly doesn't have a good association, right? From a business perspective, monopolies are not good things for average consumers or ratepayers. So that's where the PSC comes in, right? So the Public Service Commission is a 3-member regulatory body that makes sure that monopolies like energy companies or cable companies or telephone companies, that they don't take advantage of ratepayers. So the PSC, it's a 3-member body. 2 of the current 3 commissioners were appointed by Matt Bevin, one by Governor Beshear. 2 of the 3 are former Public Service Commission executive directors, so they very much know the system. And then the other one, I think this guy actually you're looking at right now, was a energy utility attorney. So he was a lawyer and a lobbyist for energy companies. And of course, that's how you get on the PSC, I guess. If you're Matt Bevin, you put folks in place who worked for the folks that are supposed to be, the PSC is supposed to be regulating. So that's the chairman right there. So what it comes down to is we need the PSC to stand up for ratepayers, to stand up for solar rooftops all around our Commonwealth, for that ability for those small businesses to continue to succeed and put on more solar. And the problem is, we are not seeing a lot of leadership. So we've got one appointee from Governor Beshear, but when did you ever hear Governor Beshear talk about climate change or global warming or a clean energy economy? Look, and I'm a big fan of, Andy Beshear, and I'm proud of the work that I did to help him get elected, but I'll be super honest, that is not an issue that he has talked about at all. And that's a problem because like I just said, our energy here in Kentucky is absolutely behind the nation in terms of clean energy production. We're all coal all the time, a little bit of natural gas. We need to do better. We are playing a role in hastening, the ecological crisis that is climate change. And meanwhile, doing nothing to create that economy that will, pay dividends into the future, which again is that clean energy economy. So we need to get there. Other governors have established clear clean energy goals. So just earlier this year, maybe end of last year, Michigan Governor Whitmer put out a goal of 30% of their energy would be clean energy by 2030, 100% by 2050. So that's Michigan. Michigan is very similar to Kentucky in that they've got a Republican-led legislature and a Democratic governor. And I think it's really important that, we see leadership all across the board. It shouldn't be a partisan issue. Science shouldn't be partisan, but unfortunately, that's the world we're living in right now. But I think it would be great to see Governor Beshear send some clear guidance to the PSC to stand up for distributed, rooftop solar and to stand up for clean energy production. So that's where I'm at with this story. See what the peanut gallery has to say. Nate, what's your response to the rooftop solar?
Oh, from up here in the peanut gallery, what can you say? I mean, this is a story about power companies and the Public Service Commission shaking hands and nodding their head in agreement that you should not, under any circumstance, get excited about or be encouraged to set up any solar power for your old Kentucky home. I had to go there. If you want to go ahead and get solar power installed, well, good for you. But now it's going to take you maybe 3 times as long to save money through those newly reduced credits for excess generated energy. Maybe you should hold off on installing those panels, huh? I mean, you wouldn't want your house to look too liberal, huh? I'm out of words. I mean, will we ever get to a future where private property has their own solar collectors? But we will. But it's these sad little exercises like the PSC ruling that just postpone the inevitable slightly. And meanwhile, global warming caused by our fossil fuel burning keeps creeping and creeping and creeping up.
100%. Kimberly, what are your thoughts on rooftop solar?
We're still going to get solar, and it's not, of course, thinking about saving the money and all these.
Uh-oh. Kimberly, I think we've got a little bit of a problem hearing you right now. Kimberly, we've lost your audio. We do not hear. We're going to go to Ken right now. I think Ken has a few things to say about this topic.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, now you're back. We'll go back to you.
Okay. I keep saying on my computer that my internet is unstable. So we really do need President Biden's infrastructure bill to go through. I was just saying that, yes, we are going to get solar panels on the house. And yes, we were thinking.
Nope. We've lost you one more time. The unstable internet strikes again. I blame the Kentucky legislature for not allowing uniform broadband across our state. All right, so we are going to go to Ken. We're just going to go to Ken and see what happens.
They should have taken the money, like the 50, like the legislation. I can't remember there's so many bills that just happened, but they should have taken the money. Anyway, I personally, I just bought a house maybe a year and a half ago, and I'm looking at putting some solar panels on my house. And I've actually reached out to a couple of different companies locally, and they're very informed. But let's see. Oh, yay, AOC. I like AOC. Don't tell anyone. So I want to put some solar panels on my house, but Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul and Andy Barr blatantly post these lies about coal being safe and clean and a way to make Kentucky's economy strong. And I feel like lied to. In 2017, Rand Paul praised working with McConnell and Trump to pass national bills like the H.J. Resolution 38 and the Trump Resolution 10 that deregulated water regulations and community safety. So, I mean, everybody's looking real smug here. Paul promised that coal jobs would be saved, but the reality is thousands continued to lose their jobs. I think we posted an article earlier. It said close to 3,000 coal miners have lost their jobs in the last 3 years. And coal lobbyists donate heavily to many national and regional politicians. Companies like Blackjewel, so that companies like Blackjewel don't have to be accountable for national natural disasters and hurricanes, like all sorts of different crazy things. Aaron said earlier, monopolies, like we have an energy monopoly here in Kentucky to make more profit off of energy and they refuse to invest in any sustainable infrastructure. Kentucky Energy and Blackjewel play the lobby game and profit off of our expense. We have to stop our reliance on these fossil fuels, and coal is gone. Like it's gone. So things like natural gas, companies are shutting natural gas is shutting down coal. Coal isn't coming back. People have lost their jobs. Kentucky is 45th in the economy, and there's nothing natural about fracking. There's nothing natural about natural gas or sand. They pump these chemicals, sand and water into the ground, and it's completely damaging. And coal is done. I guess. I mean, all I can see is some solar panels, and now I feel like I'm forced to make this $10,000 to $15,000 decision, like immediately. It's nerve-wracking. Anyway, that's why my protest sign, it says, "No, friends of coal. Clean coal is a lie." Thanks, Aaron.
Got you. Yeah. So definitely unfortunate that, people who want to get into solar have to do it like now if they want to lock in that 1-to-1 net metering credit. And it's a very significant financial decision, but it becomes a foolish decision if they when they roll back this 1-to-1 credit. So we're gonna go to Kimberly. She's got something she wants to say really quick, and hopefully her internet holds out.
I'm over here praying, I tell you. One thing I would like to point out, Aaron, about this is, Thomas Massey was in a show on HBO.
Oh, we lost you again. Thomas Massey. I'm on the edge of my seat. What was the show?
Yeah, I'd like to hear it too.
Hopefully it's a show that makes them look like an idiot.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me. Good. Okay, real quick. So Thomas Massey has a battery operated electric car, but on the back of his battery electric car, he has a license plate around it that says I love coal.
Yep.
So
yeah, Massey's interesting.
That is like so hypocritical. I just wanted to bring that up really quick, that here in Kentucky, stupid is as stupider does. And once again, it's always somebody from Kentucky that represents us that has to be so damn stupid.
Yeah. He's a big, huge fan of EVs and coal-fired power plants for all electricity, right? That's kind of how he puts those two together. But, he's not one for consistency, right? All right, so we're going to go to our call to action right now. This is a really important one. Our timing is, I think, good, really good, because tomorrow the PSC is actually going to be having a hearing on this very issue of net metering. So whether or not to save rooftop solar in Kentucky, they're going to start that process of making that determination tomorrow. So in January 2021, the Kentucky Public Service Commission issued a ruling on Kentucky Power's rate hike proposal, but it delayed making a final decision on the part of that case that impacts rooftop solar customers. So the PSC will be holding a supplemental hearing tomorrow, and their final ruling is expected by May 14th, rather. So please do take action right now. We got a very handy bit.ly link for you to remember, bit.ly / I don't know if that's a / Kentucky KY Power Solar. So do that. Go take action. It's super easy. Take a minute to personalize, the beginning of your statement so that the PSC sees that you're a real human and you're not, a Russian bot or something. But it's really important they hear from actual humans. PSC cases tend to be like a bunch of experts and, just hundreds of attorneys, right? They are the only folks who really pay attention. This is not a public facing entity on very, very many fronts. So, if you want, if you're like Ken, you want to make a decision about solar on a reasonable timeline, not forced into it because the PSC is looking to kind of pull a rug out from rooftop solar in Kentucky, say that. So this is one-to-one. Net metering is smart. It's good for consumers and it's good for the power companies too. Don't let them tell you otherwise, right? Like you only get to a problem with distributed energy generation that only can like negatively start to impact the grid and grid stability if it's like 10% of the energy load is coming from distributed sources. Anyone want to guess how much energy is coming from solar in Kentucky right now in terms of distributed energy? It is like less than it's less than 20% of 1%, right? So it is not a challenge to the grid right now. And in fact, it would bolster and strengthen the grid if we went forward and, doubled, tripled, quadrupled the amount of rooftop solar that was happening in our community. So let's make that happen. Please take action. They're also holding a hearing on the Kentucky Utilities LPG and E-rate case, I think next week. So there's like lots of opportunities to weigh in on saving rooftop solar, and I hope you'll do so. This is a really important issue. I know we've like yelled at you about the legislature for weeks and weeks and weeks. This is a different thing. It was empowered by the legislature. So first the energy companies had to like lobby to get what they wanted through the legislature. They did that. Now they're lobbying to get what they want through the PSC. Don't let them get that. We can stop them. We can stop them now. Make your comments, and please. It's important for your future, for the kids. All right, so we are now rolling into one of my favorite segments because I stopped talking, and we get to hear from our resident right guy, Doug Price, who comes correct each and every week. Well, not every week. We give him a week off. Every other week, we'll say. Anyway, Doug Price is right.
Welcome to another edition of Doug Price is Right. Tonight, I'm going to talk about the top 5 plus 1 horrific bills enacted into law during the 2021 General Assembly. During research for this discussion, I found historical legislative items from Kentucky's past. In 1798, the legislature passed Kentucky resolutions opposing United States Alien and Sedition Acts. In 1891, the present state constitution was adopted. In 1990, the Kentucky Education Reform Act was passed. And in 2021, the Republican supermajority passed horrendous bills. Okay, so I made that one up, but it's truthful. Given what happened this year will certainly be an important part of our history. Please note that the legislature overrode the governor's vetoes on all of the top 5 that I'll talk about. The plus 1 was a proposed constitutional amendment and was not subject to be overridden. The first bill I want to mention is HB 258. That bill cut the retirement benefits for new teachers, cut more than $70 million to the health insurance benefits for educators' families, and cut raises. The next bill is HB 312. It deals with changes in the Kentucky Open Records Act. The governor stated, "I am vetoing because it defeats the entire purpose of the Kentucky Open Records Act, which exists to ensure people's rights to know how their government operates." Progress Kentucky notes the bill would make the Legislative Research Commission the judge of what records it should produce with no ability for a citizen to appeal if denied. We vocally oppose this bill, following the lead and working with the Kentucky Open Government Coalition. The next bill is House Bill 563. It harms public education in Kentucky by taking money away from public schools and sending it to unaccountable private organizations with no oversight. The vote to override was 51 to 42. It had to have 51 votes to do the override. It is interesting to note that an earlier vote on this bill was 48 to 47. Several members moved around their votes and/or passes, and there were 6 fence riders who did not vote. I think if I was my legislator was a fence rider, I would want to know that. The next bill is Senate Bill 65. From Governor Beshear's veto note, this is a cruel bill at any time, but certainly in a once in 100-year pandemic, taking food benefits away from children is cruel. 1 in 6 Kentucky households with children experience food insecurity. The bill will deprive Kentucky children of essential food assistance, and it will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in administrative fees. The next bill is Senate Bill 228. This is one of my favorite worst ones. I affectionately call that the Mitch McConnell retirement bill. In 1942, the legislature passed a bill detailing how a U.S. senator is replaced if unable to serve out the term. Mitch contacted the Republican Senate President Robert Stivers and wanted him to pass a bill changing the method in which a senator is chosen. Based on the new law, the governor will have to choose among 3 people nominated by the party of the sitting U.S. senator. I believe Kelly Craft and Daniel Cameron will be 2 of the 3. Who will be the 3rd? If you have any thoughts on that, post in the comments or on our Facebook page. House Bill 91, that's the constitutional amendment that is proposed. We will get an opportunity to vote on this. It reads, to protect human life, nothing in this Constitution shall be construed to secure or protect a right to abortion or require the funding of abortion. Never mind that Roe v. Wade makes this bill invalid, even if the people vote to approve. This general session will go down in history as one of the most partisan, anti-people, pro-corporation sessions. We are Progress Kentucky, and we believe progressive values are important for our future.
Well, I told you it was bleak. I told you it was not a happy ending. There's not good stories there. Doug, thank you for reminding us just how horrible the Kentucky General Assembly truly is. What does our friend Denise say? Elections have consequences. So if you are proud of, pleased by that litany of horrid legislation that you just heard, then keep doing what you're doing, Kentucky. Keep voting in this direction and have that super duper majority, anti-human majority in the GOP. They're going to just override any veto we might have. And, we're going to pay the price. The Commonwealth pays the price. So if you like that kind of legislation in the legislature, be proud. But if you don't, get active, right? So if you do not like what you just heard, you need to get active and you need to do something about it. There's a lot of ways to do it. There's the KDP reorg that's happening right now. You can get involved at your local level. I hope everyone's doing that. And I just shared the link one more time in our Facebook group, so you can find that easy. Get involved. It's easier than it's ever been to get involved at the local level of your precinct. You don't have to go meet up at the fire station early on a Saturday morning. You're just doing it virtually. I know our friend Kit just threw their hat in the ring. That's exciting. I'm running in my my precinct, Needle Rush. I believe Ken is running in his precinct. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, people are taking taking advantage of the opportunity to get involved. So I hope that wherever wherever you are in the state of Kentucky, I hope you're getting registered, getting involved at your precinct level. It doesn't take a lot. You can kind of be as all in as you want to be. What I personally have pledged to do for my precinct is before each election, I'm going to knock on, every registered Democrat or not registered, and talk to any independent as well about the election and what's going on out there, and try to get people involved. Like, that's what I'll do. If elected. I'll probably do that even if I'm not elected, because I do like to canvass. I think it's an important step in engaging our citizenry. But yeah, that's one way to start the process of chipping away at this Republican mega majority in the General Assembly. We got to get more people active. We got to make sure people understand the problems that come with that type of legislation and that type of leadership. So I'm gonna check in on Kimberly. I'm gonna check in on her internet and see if we can have her close out the show. I see her looking at me. Her audio is just not working this evening.
Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Well, let me see if I could just turn off my video. Then you'll just see this great picture of me. It looks a lot better than what I look today anyway.
Oh,
look at that picture. Look at that picture of me. Oh, man. Ken, you're not showing the picture of me. Oh, wow. I look great. I look great. So, you know what? I think that we could turn Kentucky purple. And I know everybody here with Progress Kentucky feels the same way. And if you don't know what purple means, that means taking the blue, that would be us, and then taking the red, that would be them, and mixing it together, and then you get purple. And I don't think that's a far-fetched plan. So if you're ready to help turn Kentucky purple, I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do. You can help us by getting more people to like our page.
So, Kimberly, I think what she was gonna say, if I can jump in there, unless Nate, do you want to close it out?
Do I? I've been waiting for my chance. This is my big break. My big break.
Can you all hear me now?
Okay. That was your break.
Okay, I'm gonna run through this very quickly. So if you need pencil and paper, type it in your phone, whatever you need to do. Pertinent information coming up before my internet messes up again. Okay, we need infrastructure. We need broadband all over everywhere, even in Louisville, Kentucky. My God, it must be bad. So I was saying, like the page, tell all your friends to like the page. Let's turn Kentucky purple. Then also, we know that here in Kentucky, we need more kernels of truth. So we're going to call out the propaganda and the ridiculous claims always of those folks like Mitch and Rand Paul and Andy Barr. We're hatching a plan. Actually, it was hatched yesterday on Easter with the Easter eggs, but we're hatching a plan, okay? Make sure that we have progressive dominance and we turn this state purple. My God, people, we need you and we need all your friends. We need Pookie Nim, your cousins, and we need Mama Nim too, okay? Get everybody involved in this. We're going to mobilize folks. We're going to canvas. We're going to do a lot of stuff. And you know what? It sounds like a lot of work right now, but it really is fun. Just think about this. All of us will be involved that you look at every week, right? You know how fun we are. We're going to have a ball. So make sure that you get involved with
take it's going to take you, it's going to take some resources. We're going to print up some postcards, and we're going to add some handwritten messages, and we're going to spread the word.
Money,
gotta
$1, $2, $5, it really doesn't matter. We'll take everything, and we are so appreciative. It helps us keep going and spread the word. So consider making a donation to us right now. We take all major credit cards as well, and donate to this cause. We're doing big things, and I was always told, go big or go home. So since Kentucky's my home, we have no other avenue but to be big in our endeavors to make this state purple. Also, we couldn't have this show the way that we do. And, each week, I mean, if I had the whole show to just say thank you to Ken at Couchfire Media, Couchfire Media ignites multi-camera, live stream, fiction narrative, non-fictional, educational, informative animation, and commercial video production content. So once again, let's all say it together. Set your content on fire with Couchfire Media. And that's www.couchfiremedia.com. And then, nobody can hear me again. You all can hear me now. Okay, great. Okay. This is crazy. Governor Beshear, we need internet. Even in Louisville, Kentucky. Oh my goodness. So there are some co-hosts here that do their thing each week or every other week. And first is the Jones Report with the Betsy Foster, Mike Breuer. You guys know them. And of course, yours truly, me. Every Sunday, you can go to this page and look. Or you can also go to the Jones Report radio program page every Sunday at 1:00. And it is off the chain, you guys, because Ken Howe is our producer as well. This is a family thing, right? On the Jones Report, we talk more about national and international endeavors. And then also, let us not forget my girl, Denise Gray, that also does her show called Denise Gray's Kentucky Conversations. It's the second Sunday of every month, and you can catch her on the Bluegrass Activist Alliance Facebook page. And last but not least, a very major part of this show, we want to say thanks to Nate Orshan, because he is the one that orchestrated, originated, and performed the song that you hear. So you want to hear more songs by him? Believe me, go to his webpage. Go to his webpage at natosongs.com. And that's NATO songs.com. You know what? Special thank you. I'm so honored to be here. I know it was choppy tonight, but thank you so much to Aaron Viles for bringing me aboard with the crew. Thank you so much to Nate tonight. Thank you to Doug Price is right. I always learn so much with that. And you know what, everybody? It seems sometimes like things are really depressing, but all we have to remember is Donald Trump is no longer our president. And you know what? You can put a smile on your face. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, here in Kentucky, all you have to do is just remember Matt Bevin is no longer your governor, and you can put a smile on your face. So this week, have a smile for someone, do something nice for someone. And until then, we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. sharp. Have a good week, everybody.